Well, I am delighted to be able to speak with the very talented Martha Nippert of oh my goodness, Marnani Design Studio.
Yes.
And I bet many people that are potentially watching this today are familiar with your illustrations, which are just, you know what, they are so colorful. I love them, and they're just kind of fresh, whimsical, and fun. You know, they really you do such a lovely job.
Thank you, Lydia.
So, Martha, you live here in Wilmette,
Yes.
in McKenzie,
Yes.
right, with 4 kids right now, and I think you shared from ages 9 oldest,
9
right?
down to 2.
9 down to
Yes.
2, so you are quite busy.
Very busy.
And yet you have this amazing business,
Thank
again,
you.
as far as the illustrations that you do. And I know you have a really cool background. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about how you kind of went in this direction. And if I recall, you were in New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you so much for interviewing me and taking the time. I love Wilmette. My husband and I are so thrilled to live here, to live in the McKenzie area, and I think what you and Jane both do is so wonderful for our community, so thank you. So yes, my journey started back in New York, although I was an artist my entire life. So I've been studying art. I went to Wake Forest undergrad, and I studied art, actually got an art scholarship at Wake. But I'd always kind of thought of it as being something on the back burner. And it wasn't until my husband and I got married that I went to Parsons right after we got married. We moved to New York City, and I got a postgraduate degree in fashion design, which sounds a little fluffy depending on who you're talking to, but it was actually a very rigorous education in the arts. People that go there, people that teach there are very, very serious about their craft and about what they do. So I got to learn from the best of the best. And I did a 2-year program in 3 semesters. So that tells you how anxious and excited I was to get working in the industry. I was lucky enough to secure an internship at Michael Kors, which at the time was a very hot shop, but still is today. And when I went there, after about 6 months of working there as an intern, doing all of the things that you hear about through the movies and the TV shows, the coffees, lots of coffees, lots of other things. But it was a great experience. I actually was able to secure a job there. They made a position for me. So that was really, I would say, validating. And from the time that I started there as an assistant designer, I eventually worked my way up pretty quickly to be a senior designer, where I was managing a design team. I was working with big accounts that accounted for, I would say, most of the income in the store, or in the business, excuse me. And I also was there when it IPO'd. So that was a huge learning curve. For me, it was like an exciting time, and it was a great time to be able to say that you work at Michael Kors. All the Wall Street guys want to be like, we've talked to you about what that means and the business. My husband thought it was great. So anyway, so during that time, I was also illustrating during nights and weekends. And what that means is I was taking my knowledge of both art and fashion. So fashion illustration is a little bit different than figure drawing. And I will never forget, I actually had this wonderful Japanese teacher at Parsons who was like, I'm not sure what you're doing right now, because I was doing what was figure drawing. I would see a model in front of me and draw her exactly as she was. And fashion drawing is all about the proportion that you see, kind of this like very tall, 10 heads tall, which really doesn't exist in real life, because the point is to show the clothing. So I very quickly realized that fashion illustration was something different. I took that knowledge and that style and applied it to kind of my fine art background and started offering illustration as a business. So ironically, my very first client was a woman that lives here in Wilmette. It was Be Bright Pink, if you're familiar with. So Be Bright Pink is a nonprofit organization that is based on Lindsay Abner Kaplan. She was one of the first women in the country years ago to have a preventative double mastectomy with a BRCA gene. So she had hired me to do all of her branding materials. In the days of Daily Candy, if anyone remembers that, you know, she had hired me to do these whimsical illustrations of women being proactive with their health, living a certain kind of lifestyle. And slowly but surely, through working with her and getting my work out there, I started to get more and more clients.
Well, I love, as far as what you're doing here, kind of incorporating some daily scenic views as far as the local area.
Yes.
And including kind of your figure as far as the fashion and of course I have to just include the drawing that you did for us, which I still remember meeting you for the first time, which was at Share, one of our favorite places back in the day.
Share, we miss you so much, Share.
We miss you so much, Share.
Karen, come back.
Oh, Karen, please. I know. And I remember it was Galentine's or whatever, and you were there, and we're like, oh, could you, and that has been one of the things we've so loved, and we've gotten so many compliments as far as what you did. So would love to hear some of the different projects then, as far as that you've done.
Yeah, so we were chatting earlier about, it's actually, honestly, probably one of the most challenging things for me is to really explain who I work for and what I do, because I do so many different things. I would say wherever there's an image, it could be an illustration. So people that hire me for either their branding or their packaging or editorials, they typically like my work, and then they commission me to do something that could be a photograph, but it's more exciting and it's more engaging when it's actually an illustration. It's something different, right? So some things that I've worked on in the past have been packaging, for example, Neapolitan for their 20th anniversary candle. I also did Billy Corgan.
So the candle right here, right? I just want to show some of your.
So this was such a
very
fun
cool
project.
things.
We have their iconic front doors here with the chandelier, and then kind of this fun floral which spoke to the scent. So that was a fun project. And I love local business as well, because when I first started my business, I actually didn't tell anyone in New York that I had moved. So, because my husband's job, truthfully, took us back to the Midwest area, and even though I loved the North Shore, I was a little scared, I think, to kind of leave that industry, because the fashion industry is really primarily in New York, even though it's throughout, and the world is becoming more global. But, I realize what a robust community the North Shore really is, and how many opportunities are just right here. So I feel very fortunate to have had, over the years, many North Shore based projects. One of them being Billy Corgan and Chloe Mendel Corgan's wedding invitations. This was actually their save the date, which was a really sweet kind of use of the illustration that I made of their home, and kind of some other fun nuggets, details, a little rooster down here, a dog, and then one of their statues from their gardens on the back. Chloe was a wonderful client to work with and has become a dear friend. So yeah, I would just say, editorials. I did the map for the Scout Guide recently for Volume 1, which launched last September. So this was super fun, because this was a map that, speaks to our beautiful community in the North Shore. So the Home Alone house, women lounging in Gilson Beach, the High Temple, kind of a mix of iconic landmarks with some lifestyle elements, I would say, like a little bike, the fun leopard chairs at Bunny and Babe, Ellie Styles' little cart, gotta have your sunglasses, things like that. So, and then here's a bigger version if that maybe is,
which is
more
so
camera
cute.
friendly.
So cute.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun, because with the 4 kids, obviously my time is divided, but I think we all here can relate that we're all kind of trying to do different things and juggle a lot of different responsibilities, but having my own art business really allows me to kind of decide when I'm able to dial up that business and when I'm able to say no to more projects than I would probably like, just because, summer's a great example of that, just because my kids are home and I want to spend time with them and I want to enjoy this beautiful area.
The best time of the year, right? Is
Yeah,
enjoy.
absolutely.
Well, Jane and I love what you do.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, and if you want to just show your cute little picture there at
This
Gilson
one, yes.
Beach, we were so fortunate to be able to use it on the front of our cover, which is so darling.
Thank
And
you.
and then I just have to point out one other thing that you shared with us was the scarf from Talbots that you did.
Yes. Would you like me to grab it?
Yeah, I'd love you to grab it.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause it's just so. Is this yours too? Did you do this little pillow?
Yeah, this is my pillow. So
How cute!
Surrounded.
How nice is
Thank
that?
you.
I think I'll design a pillow that will go with my
Yes.
home. I could use that actually right now for you to help me with
Yeah,
the
you
pillow
could,
design.
right? Yeah.
I really could. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good because I have the commercial side to my business, which is the illustration of editorials, packaging, all of that. We'll call it commercial, right? Scarves. This was for Talbots. This was for a few years ago.
So darn cute.
This is the wrong side. And, you know, this was meant to represent all different types of women, all different backgrounds, and always I like to say that I try to use color, whimsy, and joy in my work. So I feel like that probably is executed here. And again, obviously this is highly influenced by my background in fashion design and fashion illustration, where it's very much about the clothes, minimal facial detail. I always get asked, why don't you do eyes? I'm like, because it's fashion portraiture. So typically fashion portraiture is less about the face, more about the essence of the person, and more about the clothes or the attitude of the person and the clothing as well.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll have to remember that, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Martha, if somebody wants to find your work and
Yes.
be able to maybe actually have you work on something for them, or something that they want to buy, one of these lovely illustrations that you've done, how would they go about? Yes.
So that's a great question, and you guys have actually been huge supporters of that. So I know I've had a lot of inquiries from your illustrations, so thank you so much for that. But I would say right now, just for me, I get the most inquiries through Instagram. My best, I think, sampling of my work is at Martha Nippert on Instagram, and it's, you know, you can message me via DMs, or you can reach out to me through my email or my website. I do have a website that I'm in the process of relaunching, hopefully this fall. But Instagram has not only allowed me to connect with so many more collectors and clients, but has also really put my work on the map and has allowed me to work with national brands that I'm certain I would have otherwise never worked with before. So it's such a powerful tool, as you know very well. But I would say the best way to connect is through social media, website, etc.
And also Central Street Station.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the month of May.
Month of May.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is it so just the month of May? Is the
It's
when
always
you
the
go?
month of May.
Oh, the month
yes.
of May. Okay, very good. And then of course I just have to, and then we can kind of wrap this up. But the fact that you're designing a mahjong map or
Yes.
match, we had talked about that. Which
Yes.
is going to be so fun. Can't wait to see that. Well, Martha, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
mean,
so
this
much,
has been
Lydia.
such a treat, and again, just love your stuff. I mean,
Thank
again,
you.
like you said, joy. It does.
Yes.
It really, the colors are just. I love how the
Yes.
colors.
I want you to feel happy when you look.
They are. They're happy.
Yes.
They're happy.
And when you
so.
choose to bring something into your home, that's a big deal. So I take that with a lot of responsibility, and I always want to spread joy because we need more of it.
We absolutely do. All
Yes.
right. Well, Martha,
Thank you so much, Lydia.
much.
Thank you.